In its quest for a Nigeria that serves the best interest of all citizens, a pro-restructuring organization, the Rebirth Group, TRG, has once again called for the restructuring of the country. This position was reiterated during a two-day national symposium held in Enugu State on July 30 and 31, 2025. The focal point of TRG's advocacy is a return to regionalism and parliamentary system of government. Participants at the third national symposium reaffirmed their call for urgent restructuring of Nigeria. In his welcome address, TRG General Secretary Dan I.Y. Nweze expressed hope that the symposium would provide a practical roadmap for restructuring the country.
This scene of the sparrow that was lying down on the road when the horseman was passing, and he saw the little sparrow lying down, carrying hands for let's go. He said, "What are you doing at the center of the road?" He said, "Didn't you hear that the heaven is about to fall?" He said, He said, "I will catch it with my one hand." The horseman said, "See, sparrow, how do you think you can reach the heavens with your hands, with your spiny legs?" He said, "Man, I may not be able to do so, but one does what one can." And so we are here to put our footprints in the mark, in the sands of history. We are here to look each other in the eye and say what we feel about our country, and say what we feel about our land, about our people.
TRG convener Dikin Owolabi Oladejo, in a presentation titled TRG, The Journey So Far, described the symposium as more than just a meeting. It is a movement of conscience. He emphasized that restructuring must be achieved through negotiation, not imposition. He noted that the first TRG symposium was held in Ibadan, May 2024, where 6 autonomous regions were recommended. The second, held in Kaduna, November 2024, proposed 8 regions.
The 1999 Constitution is a constitutional ambush. It replaced military unitary system with civilian structure, and that means it's actually not a democracy. Like in all oppressive frameworks, it was designed to preserve the elite privilege, not to foster justice or equity. Unless we summon the courage to move beyond fragmented activism, endless commentary, and the comfort of political correctness, we will remain trapped in this destructive cycle. True national transformation demands that we unite across ethnic, regional, or ideological lines and act boldly and cooperatively to pursue the truth and justice that we demand. Peace and progress cannot be accidental. They can only emerge when citizens representing all ethnic groups, faith and religions come together as equals to negotiate and adopt a truly people-owned constitution. Such a constitution will not only heal historical wounds, but also lay the foundation for a united, inclusive, and prosperous Nigeria. This symposium is not just a meeting to us. It is a movement of conscience. It is a rallying point for those who believe that Nigeria must rise again through restructuring, through justice, and through a new constitutional order backed by negotiation and not imposition. Negotiation and not that is based on concession. We envision a symmetric federal structure with autonomous region, a cooperative and inclusive governance system anchored on equity, meritocracy, and mutual respect for each region. In recognition of Nigeria's historical identity as a union of distinct nationalities, and in response to the over-concentration imposed by military rule, it is time for Nigerians to reclaim their rights to self-governance with a truly federal system. We hope that this symposium will produce a practical roadmap outlining strategic steps towards patriation, that is, reclaiming constitutional authority from imposed unitary system. To begin with, we are calling for the establishment of National Rebirth Commission, which will oversee the comprehensive restructuring of this country. This will include Truth, Reconciliation, Unity and Equity Committee, Boundary Delineation and Regional Structuring Committee, Constitutional Drafting and Review Committee for each region and for the country. Ladies and gentlemen, while welcoming you, I need to ask this question. Is Nigeria working for you? Okay. If Nigeria is not working for you, what story do you want to tell your children that the issue that defeated your father defeated you and you are handing it over to your children? It's time for Nigeria to have a truly united nation. And we can do it. It is possible if we make up our mind to work at it. God bless.
The chairman of the symposium, Okpala Eze Nri Chukwuemeka Onyeso Agbade Ezenna Nri, submitted that of the 13 most powerful economies in the world, 8 operate under parliamentary democracies.
Nigeria must go back to parliamentary democracy, which we became independent with 59, 60, 63. Reason is because in parliamentary democracy, the head of government is under strict control. He goes to the house every day. If he is absent for 2 or 3 weeks, he may come back and find that he's no more prime minister. There's some fear. And he cannot put the treasurer in his house like the president and governors. The treasury is in the secretariat. They don't steal as much. There's a limit. They don't abuse power as presidential democracy. And if you check around the world, if there are 150 countries, the countries that live longer take care of their people from birth to death, less terror or no terrorism, no arbitrariness or molestation of citizens. There are about 80 or 90 out of 145 are all parliamentary. The place where you have these atrocities are essentially parliamentary democracy, presidential democracy. So we have no reason to belong there.
The keynote address was delivered by Professor Elochukwu Amuche, has emphasized that restructuring involves dividing the country into zones, each constitutionally empowered, virtually independent, and well coordinated.
What is restructuring? Split the country into zones, into states. That's what restructuring. But make sure that each unit really has its own powers. It's virtually independent. And then there will be coordination. This is what happens all over the world. Whether it's Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, United States, creation of Kosovo, disintegration of Russia, disintegration of Britain. Every country that is cosmopolitan really breaks up into coordinate units, and people will be brought together. I mean, this is the only way to develop.
Professor Obasi Igwe, president of the Igbo Civil Coalition, presented a paper titled Structuring the Symmetric Federalism for Nigeria. He proposed a federal structure of 2 to 12 regions, emphasizing relative self-determination. These regions could be formed by single or combined ethnic groups based on contiguity, consensus, and viability.
Final solution: relative self-determination for Nigeria's ethnic nationalities. Either single ethnic nationalities or combinations of ethnic nationalities based on contiguity, consensus, and viability within Nigeria. Within Nigeria. Yoruba should be able to develop as a Yoruba nation within Nigeria. Igbo as an Igbo nation within Nigeria. Hausa to regain their paramountcy in Hausa land within Nigeria, and not to be suppressed or subjugated under a caliphate. The same thing with other ethnic nationalities. We cannot be 350 regions to reflect 350 ethnic groups. Some have to be singles, some in combinations. People must regain their freedom and their paramountcy within the indigenous lands as part of one Nigeria. We are not saying at different paths. People should be happy where they are. And then we pay taxes into a common fund to maintain the collectivity.
Evangelist Agbo spoke on rebuilding states under a regional system, calling on religious and traditional leaders to mobilize their communities to demand a new constitutional order rooted in justice and equity.
We need to form and unite with others. Everybody is suffering under this castrating culture called Nigeria. Don't think the North is enjoying it. Don't think Fulani people like it. It's politicians, and these politicians are everywhere. They are in any case, nothing can happen in Igbo land if there is no agents that will play agency role. It's not possible. So don't blame people outside. Blame those inside first. They have 70% of the blame. Countries are built by men who will be prepared to think, not those who are ready to play for the calendar. We are not interested in that. How do we get these people who are ruling us, who think they are ruling us? How do we get them to behave like the parliament in Czechoslovakia in December 1992 that looked at the fact that their country was about to blow up? And they said, we are thinking about these people. There's a paper I wrote, the polling between Nigerians and Nigerians. Nigeria and Nigerians. I don't care if Nigeria survives. I am interested if Nigerians survive. I want Haruna to survive. I want Adegoke to survive. I want Akonido. I want Okonfa to survive. So we cannot sacrifice these people on the altar of one man called Nigeria that I don't know what it is. I don't know the dress he wears. So as long as I agree that we need to save Nigeria, but we cannot save Nigeria on the altar of Nigerians' blood.
Other notable participants included Senator John Azuta Mbata, President of Ohaneze Enugu Worldwide, represented by Dr. Ezechi Chukwu, National Publicity Secretary, Barrister Emeka Siri, President Movement of Biafrans in Nigeria, Mobin, Alhaji Yusuf Seriki, Leader Hausa Emirates Intercommunity, Dr. Umachi Venatus, President IICA Enugu State Chapter, Professor Olu Anda Y. Ogosu, Mrs. Doris Agu, Vice President, Women Supports Women Community Network, representatives from Okpe Union, Dr. Chukwu Patrick Chimeka, ADF, Ambassador Ugu Fidelis, Speaker, National Youth Assembly of Nigeria, Enugu State, Oba Isiaka Abidemi Saman, Oba and leader of the Yoruba community, Enugu State, Reverend Kali Ibekwe, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Enugu Chapter, representatives from the Joint Association of Persons with Disabilities.
The most important thing is that Ohaneze Ndigbo is at 360 degrees behind restructuring because of the need to unburden the center. Nigeria today has become a dysfunctional amalgam because the foundation is completely faulty. Since we have resolved to live as one people and one nation, it is therefore necessary that we look at our faces one-on-one and tell ourselves the truth on the need to address those fundamental fault lines which have made it impossible for this grand locomotive called Nigeria to thrive.
I know sincerely that after the amalgamation of Nigeria in the year 1914, to date, there is a lot of, after 1966 coup, that brought up this contraception called the unitary system of government or a pseudo-democracy. Nigeria has not been working. Nigeria is not working. Sincerely speaking, Nigeria is not working. There is a lot of injustices in this country. Laws are not obeyed. There is lopsidedness in distribution of nation's resources. So for Nigeria to work, you have to go back to the fundamental. Solution to this fundamental problem is restructuring this nation. Restructuring it in line with, if we are adopting a federal system of government, let us practice federalism as it is done in other parts of the world that is working, like in the United States, like in India. Let us practice it the way it is working. Not this. We are not in democracy.
We have in the country is the issue of one nation having too many tribes together. So we have diversity. But this diversity should not be a kind of thing that could divide us further. It could be diversity in unity, because where one tribe is lacking, the other tribe may have strength in that area. So it should be complementary. So for us, Yoruba community in the Enugu state, we hope for a better Nigeria, a Nigeria whereby wherever any Nigeria lives, he will be treated as a Nigeria, not on the basis of where he comes from, not on the basis of his religion, or what the language he speaks, or how he presents himself. So we want a united Nigeria, that everybody will live together as brothers and sisters.
The position of the Yoruba Union on restructuring of Nigeria, from the perspective of federating units, are two. The Yoruba Union is not against 6 or 8 geopolitical zones. We should remember that if we adopt regions, it means the states will go away. The states will likely go away, and we will have maybe provinces, which we can now have many provinces. Different people can agitate for as many provinces as possible. Then, the other one, if we are not going for 6 or 8 or more geopolitical zones, will be heterogeneous zones and monogeneous zones, where a particular ethnic group is so large and contiguous, like Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, and any other that is so large that they can be on their own as a region or a federating unit, then that will be a monogeneous zone. Then where the ethnic groups are small and therefore not viable, then we will not have them coming together to form heterogeneous regions.
We, the United Intercommunity Forum, comprising non-indigenous, residing in Enugu State, Nigeria, humbly submit our proposals for the review of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as it pertains to the Southeast Zone. Our organization is committed to promoting unity, development, and inclusivity in the region. One of the proposals is creation of more states in the Southeast Zone. We strongly advocate for the creation of additional states in the Southeast Zone to promote even development, enhance governance, and ensure more effective representation at the national level. This move will also help to unlock the economic potential of the region and improve the quality of life for its residents. State police, we support the establishment of state police in Nigeria with specific provision for the Southeast Zone. This will enable the states to take greater ownership of their security challenges and develop context-specific solutions to address the unique needs of their communities. Constitutional role for traditional rulers. We propose that traditional rulers in the Southeast Zone be given a constitutional role in the governance of their respective domains. This will enable them to provide guidance, support, and oversight to their communities, leveraging their influence to promote peace, stability, and development.
We've been crying as a people. Nobody is hearing us, or a lot of people pretended not to be hearing us. But because of this gathering here, we are going to give birth to a new Nigeria. The Hausa is here, the Yoruba is here. And the convener of this, because of his heart, I am walking through his heart now to get the conscience of the nation. We must give birth. We must give birth.
I said we must give back. I stand before you today with great humility and a deep sense of responsibility, not just as a student, but as a representative of the new generation of legal thinkers, activists, and reformers. I am Iduchukwu Franklin, the 65th President of the Law Students Association, University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, proudly flying the flag of LOTA and proudly standing on the shoulders of those who believe that a better Nigeria is possible through deliberate and just reforms. Why are we here? We are here not just to relieve the pains of our national outcry, but to interrogate its foundation and propose a new order, one that prioritizes fairness, equity, and sustainability. Restructuring Nigeria is not a threat to our unity, just like many persons might think. It is the very tool that can preserve and strengthen it. It is not about secession or division. It is about inclusion, accountability, and balanced governance.
We have to create awareness, especially at the grassroots. Let our people know that we should become more patriotic. Patriotism is one important aspect of this restructuring taking place, whereby Nigerians have to take everybody, it's now everybody's business to be part of this restructuring. So we need to create more awareness in the grassroots, let our people know.
What is boiling down in my heart as a Nigerian youth is boiling down in his heart too, as a Nigerian youth. And then coming down to Southeast and as an Igbo person, it seems that everybody in his or her own heart have uniform problem that we want this country to solve. And that problem is the problem of restructuring. And then when we looked at the topic, we said, let us give a microcosm of this topic. And I now said, the question of restructuring in a fractured unity. If we believe that this country is fractured, then the question of restructuring becomes no debate. It becomes a necessity. It becomes a paradigm that we must embrace, because the country is no longer working with the current structure, and that is why the whole country is boiling. And as a young person, I am feeling it. As an old person, you are feeling it, and that is why you feel that in your own lifetime, this country has to work. And
that this special committee is totally in line with the call for the centralization of Nigeria's system of governance. And I want to also state here that since after the war, or after independence, I have seen so far that as a person with disability and being someone that is very much acquainted with the happenings within the community, it appears Nigeria unfortunately has become a producer of disability itself. We have it from the security sector, where our gallant men and women of the force go out able and return back disabled. It is a Nigerian issue. We have it in a system where our mothers today get pregnant and give birth to a disabled child. It is a Nigerian issue. Poverty in Nigeria has become a factor that produces disability. Some of these things put together and different kind of diseases that is ravaging Nigeria, the insecurity, kidnappings here and there, all put together has necessitated a call for total decentralization of Nigeria's system of governance, for us to determine our future, plan our future together, and be able to know how we feel as a society and as one indivisible people.
Restructuring has been a word that is as old as democracy. I've had it a couple of years, and it's almost tripling up to 3 decades now. We've been talking about restructuring. But one thing it's clear and very peculiar, it is that we are beginning to have a consenting tone. The people are beginning to galvanize and converge under one umbrella. I was particularly impressed when I saw the Yoruba people, Hausa people, Igbo people, OPEC ethnic groups and women groups converge under one umbrella to say, yes, Nigeria, it's a call, it's a cause, and it's a purpose, and we need to fight it together. So one man was talking and he said, I'm not interested in Nigeria, I'm interested in Nigerians. And so for me, it was a broad language that spells inclusion, that spells participation, that spells destruction of ethnicity, creed, gender, and race. We are supposed to be humans before we became constituencies, communities, and different places.
What we need today in Nigeria is to restructure Nigeria if we can tell ourselves truth.
After presentations from various stakeholders, attendees broke into 3 panels to deliberate on the following: autonomous regions, structuring asymmetric federalism for Nigeria, rebuilding the states under a regional system. The recommendations from the panels were tabled before the full conference. Awards were later presented to some participants.
Concerning the people of the southeast that are saying that their people are carved into south-south, what will happen? That means we have to return to the original map of the ethnic nationalities, Igbo nation. Because the Igbo land knows what is Igbo land. Every Igbo man knows what is Igbo land. Even before the white men came, we knew our boundary from Ndi Igbo and the Hindi on the Yoruba. We knew our boundary. So we have to revert back to our original boundary. And if that is done, our people who are in the south-south now definitely will be part of the Igbo nation. So there will be a redrawing of the map. The regions, there will be another map to create the regions.
We felt it is appropriate that every tier of government given equal rights and also the space to create a unique constitution that is peculiar to themselves. And that constitution will be all-encompassing.
Our question is for us to talk about rebuilding the states under a regional government or under a regional system, and then setting a modality for drafting people's constitution. For us to answer this question, what we were able to do is to look at the benefits of regional government. And we say that we recommend regional government because it will make us to be hardworking. It will make states to be hardworking. It will stop states from running to the center every month to collect something from them. And if states are independent, it will increase more, it will make them to be more enterprising.
The second day, chaired by Professor Chinedu Nebo, featured a leadership stakeholders roundtable to evaluate discussions, sign a communique, and strategize on the next steps.
What we need to do is, how do we move forward? What are we itemizing one by one? That's what Rob said. So that we'll have either a communique or a body of instructions that we need to package and package very well and make sure that those in the constituent assemblies have it. What Professor Basigwe was saying, there is a problem because some of the Igbos who are not even in the southeast may not even want to be part of the Igbo region. So this is something that the Constituent Assembly should debate. It's not for us to say this is the way it is going, but let's formulate principles, itemize them. How do we move forward? All of us here agree that it is region, 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 and autonomous regions for that matter. Regions that give each group the capacity to have self-determination and do what they want to do to develop their region.
The resolutions are as follows. Participants unanimously agreed on the following points. Nigeria must be restructured immediately to ensure national stability. A regional system of government is the most viable path forward. The Enugu Symposium supports the creation of 8 autonomous regions aligned with previous proposals. A return to a modified parliamentary system is necessary to reduce governance costs and limit corruption. Restructuring will not abolish existing states. Rather, states will form federating units within regions. Proposed name for the new structure: United Regions of Nigeria (URN), or any agreed nomenclature. Resource sharing: 70% of natural resource revenue should remain with the producing community (LGA) state region. 30% should go to the federal center. The current administration is encouraged to establish a national rebate commission with subcommittees to oversee restructuring, heal national wounds, and guide the transition. Greater inclusion of women, youth, and persons with disabilities at all levels of governance is essential. The Southeast chapter of the TRG was commended for organizing a successful symposium. Participants pledged continued advocacy and engagement in the restructuring process with a vision to build a democratic Nigeria where no group dominates another.
We are quite impressed with the rebate group for this wonderful initiative that gave us the opportunity to be part of this interaction. The most important thing here is that rebate group, from the much we have discerned, is tenaciously committed to the renaissance of the Nigeria which we have somehow lost.
In conclusion, participants emphasized the importance of self-determination, regional autonomy, and a federated system that honors Nigeria's ethnic and cultural diversity while promoting unity through fairness, justice, and constitutional negotiation. Taiwo Olariwaju, Impact TV News.